Hi guys, this is Anastasia Autumnfire with day 10 of my 30 days of magic crafting for Samhain. Tonight's craft, I made a Samhain incense. It basically is an herbal blend that I'm going to use for an incense, some spell crafting, as well as probably some oil and some other little goodies. So it basically is going to be the herbal blend that works as a base for several other things that I'm going to be doing. So this is so far what I have. In this mixture I have apples. I'm going to look at my list because I'm going to forget things, I know. It started off as a 9 herb blend, but then it became a 13 blend. I made it with the 9 and I kind of sat there, I'm like, it's good, but it's not really where I wanted it to be. I want more, I don't want to say earthiness, but I wanted more connection, I guess. Whenever I speak of earthiness, I oftentimes think in terms of roots. That connectedness is really what I wanted. Connecting the living to the dead, connecting our realm to the underworld, connecting us to our ancestors, connecting us to each other. I mean, even just on this plane, human to human. I think lately connection is severely lacking. So I really wanted that to be a focus in this blend. So I put the original 9 herbs in and I kind of went, I need more connectivity. So I went with, I added 4 items that were all tree based. I believe I added willow. I'm going to be adding pine and then oak and sandalwood as well. So sandalwood, yeah, they're all woods. So what I have in here, and again, pardon me for looking off camera, I have apple, I will have oak. I saved my oak leaves for adding on the video, so I will have oak, pine, willow. And the willow in this I'm kind of excited about. My Grandpa Alan and Grandma Carol, my 2 sets of grandparents really raised me for all intents and purposes. And my Grandma Carol and Grandpa Alan, my Grandpa Alan passed away a few years ago, actually October 19th, so that anniversary is coming up. Sorry, I've really been feeling connected to my Grandpa Alan this month, and I usually do for obvious reasons, but anyway, Grandma Carol sold the house this year, and they had this huge willow tree in the backyard, and I absolutely loved it, and I would play under it. When I was a kid, I would act like I was a princess, and then the tree kind of came to this weird connection on the ground, and it kind of sunk in, so it looked like a grave almost. So I imagined I was, a princess saying farewell to my love that was in a grave, and this and that. Like, yeah, my playtimes got real interesting. So one of the last times I was there, I went out to the oak tree and I found just looking to see if I put it away, I think I did. I took a branch from the tree, and I didn't know what I was going to do with it. I just wanted it, and it became very apparent this year that I'm going to make a wand out of it. I've made a few wands. I made one for Beltane, and that is very much a Carnunos wand. I even made a little clay stake head for the top of it. I made a wand with a lot of energies focused on spiritual connection and healing. And then I started a wand for midsummer out of oak, and it wasn't connecting. It didn't feel right, and so I kind of left it be until it started speaking to me again. So I do have an oak branch that I've been working on, and I absolutely love the branch. So I do need to do something with it, but I'm not quite sure what yet. But the willow that I collected from my grandparents' house, it's going to be my ancestor wand. I think I've decided that. I don't know if it will be an ancestor wand or a wand for hell specifically, Because in the back of my head, I do have the makings of a wand out of an apple branch too, and apple is very much connected to ancestry and the dead. But anyway, I'm getting off base. So the willow branch that I collected that I'm going to make into a wand, I did take some of the outer bark that I would need to strip away anyway for wand making and put it into this mix. So not only is it willow, which is a great connection to the spirit realm, but it also is a willow that came from my childhood home that my grandfather, who passed away in that home, was a part of. So it really will have that great connection for me. So we have, as I said, willow. Then we have cinnamon. We have elderflower, lavender, which I'm going to put a little bit more in because it doesn't feel quite right in there. I do have mint, nettle, pomegranate juice, because again, the pomegranates were all gone, sage, and anise. And all of these are also herbs that I found to be Samhain herbs, but they all kind of have different meanings for me as well. So as I was putting them into the blend, what I was doing was I was basically announcing what they were going to be in here for, so or what they represented to me. So like when I was putting in the chunks of apple, as I was kind of tearing them apart to make them into smaller pieces, I was saying things like, and to this blend I add apple, sacred to hell, food of the dead, connection to our ancestral spirits. It is the fruit of love. It is the fruit of fertility and abundance. It is the fruit of knowledge. So let us add it to this herb so that we can gain knowledge from the other side, and hopefully continue our own wisdom in this life. And things like that. Like as you're making an herbal blend, for me, when it's supposed to be a very spiritual connection type of a blend. You can make blends for prosperity, you can make blends for good luck, things like that. But when it's something that's very sacred to you, something that kind of speaks to your inner spirit, for lack of a better phrase, I finding that what this actually means to you makes all the difference in connecting to the herbs, to the craft. I can easily say, and I'm going to add some sage here for some protection and well wishes, and all of that's true, and all of that does resonate with me as well. But adding some personal findings, I'm going to add the sage for protection, but not a hard or defensive protection, but something a little softer, something connected to spirit, something that connects you to your inner wisdom, and a calming protection. Because for me, sage is very calming, and does connect me to that spiritual plane. As I added the willow, I did mention my connection to my grandfather and connection to the spirit realm and connection to the goddess. To give a better understanding, I did reserve I reserved 2 herbs, and I am going to add a bit more lavender because I feel like it needs some more lavender. So this might give you a bit of a better idea of how I do it, at least. Maybe it's something that speaks to you, maybe it isn't, but if it does, or if you already do it, awesome. It's good to know that I'm not alone. So we have a few oak leaves here. I'm just going to collect a few at a time because they do crunch. Normally I would specifically just go, okay, I'm just going to use 3. When I started pulling them from my little cabinet, I just grabbed a handful and said, yep, I'm good with this. So it definitely is kind of just a, nope, this is a good amount type of a deal, as opposed to following a recipe or a certain amount. So, as I crush these oak leaves, let them aid in strength to myself and to my family in the upcoming year, strength to my loved ones and friends, strength to those who I do not know but could use it, Strength also to the spirits that find themselves wandering on this night of nights. Let them know that their journeys are protected. Let our journeys in the living world also be protected. Let these oak leaves aid in protection, not just on this night, but on the year to come. Let this aid in the darkened months coming, in the cold winter. Let us find warmth, as it is an herb or a leaf of fire. Let us find warmth not only in the physical sense, but also in the spiritual sense, in our relationships. Let those sparks and fires continue to grow and never die. Let us keep in mind the summer and spring that is coming after these cold months, when the Holly King retreats and the Oak King can once again reign, bringing the sun out and the rays warming our fields to produce an abundance and a prosperity, to give us more food, to give us more warmth, to give us happier times. And does not mean that these winter months need to be ones of solemnity. Let these winter months under the Holly King's reign continue to grow in warmth and prosperity as well. Just let the oak in this serve as a reminder that even more warmth is on the horizon. And then I just kind of put it into the herbs and the blend that's already there. And when I come across some bigger leaves, I just kind of chop them up. The nice thing is because there's apple in here, apples are kind of chunked up, so they're not nice small little pieces. So there isn't a need to have them super small. You certainly can if you feel called to do so. I personally, because I do use this for oils, I do use this for crafting, as well as just herbal offerings that I might bring to the graveyard, and incense. I do like to keep it a bit more chunky. Most of my herbal blends I kind of like to leave a little bit on the chunky side. And then when I'm doing this, oddly enough, I find just on its own, I have one hand going clockwise, the other hand going counterclockwise. I'm not sure why, but it feels right, because I do want to be sending energies out. I do want to be keeping energies in. So I feel doing both docile and winter shins works for this blend. That might seem really weird, but I kind of like it. I just noticed it tonight while I was putting the rest of the stuff in. I was going, it's not that I do that, but I kind of like that. I like the symbolism in it. So you can see it's grown a little bit with those oak leaves. I'm going to add some bark, pine bark. Normally I would add pine needles just because they're a bit more protective, but I do like pine bark as well. I think the protection is still there, and I really love the aroma because it's that earthy scent as opposed to that pine needly scent. The pine needle scent itself I really attribute to Yule. Samhain is much more spicy yet earthy for me, and while juniper berries and needles and such certainly lend themselves to that feeling, it connects me personally more to Yule. So I opted not to use needles in this, but instead pine bark, just for that earthy quality. I add pine bark. I add pine bark for protection. Let it also aid in giving us roots to each other, to our ancestors, to loved ones. Let us be like the pine and have long and grounded lives, full of strength. Let us realize the bit of immortality that is within us all. Let this pine serve as a reminder to leave a legacy behind so that our children may one day honor us as we honor those who have gone before us. And that way we will never die. And then again, just kind of crumple it together. This blend, I'm very much going off of scent. Sorry, you just like totally got a shot up to the top of my head. I'm really going off of scent with this one. There's a certain smell I want to bring about. Not necessarily, there's a certain smell that I call the Halloween smell. And that has much more to do with fallen leaves. And I actually have an herbal blend that is on the horizon. I think I'm going to do a step-by-step on that one because it really is something that's been speaking to me for a while. That deals very heavily with fallen leaves. So I'm not necessarily looking for that scent, but I am looking for an otherworldly scent. And I used, I think the combination of mint and cinnamon and lavender really is making that. But I do want a bit more wood, so I think I'm gonna add a bit more pine wood to it. I don't think I need more sandalwood. I put a ton of sandalwood in there, and then I don't want it to be too overpowered. So I'll add a bit more pine. Okay, well, we'll see how that goes. And then I have a bit more lavender I wanted to put in. Lavender. No, I think I'm good. And again, I like putting it in by hand because I can bruise it while I put it in, just kind of releasing those oils and that fragrance. Lavender, of course, is for the good folk. Lavender is an offering often made in the spring and summer. But we should also remember that Samhain is a time where the veil is at the thinnest, perhaps with the spiritual realm, but it is also a time of in-between, which is when the good folk love to be about. It also is a time where we bid farewell to many of the nature spirits. Not farewell for good, but just for a winter hibernation. It also is a time to greet the winter elementals to the forest and to our realm. As I add this lavender and mix it with the herbal blend, let it add a bit of that mystic wonder that the good folk lend us in our everyday life. It's pretty close. This is always kind of the scary moment because it feels really close, so I could be done and be like, yep, I'm good, but I still feel like I want a bit more. Yeah, I want a bit more. You never want to overdo it, which I understand, but if you can't smell it and say, yeah, I'm good, I can't. I've tried just leaving something as is, and when I do that, I end up waking up in the middle of the night and adding more stuff to it, so. It's almost there. One more helping, I think, and that should do the trick. Yeah, that's good. That's it. Yeah, it's just kind of, it definitely, oh, as I put some down my shirt, it definitely is the scent I want. It's a little odd. It's just a little kind of different. It's not a scent signature that I've ever really made. So it'll be interesting to see what it smells like when it burns. For right now, I've got a couple other crafts that I need to get underway utilizing this, so I'm going to wait to actually burn it. But I wanted to share with you how I made it, because like I said, I've got a few things on the docket, and this plays a key part. So wanted to get this made. This is my Samhain Herbal Blend, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Feel free to comment. I love comments. I love chatting back. I apologize if I chat too much. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow. Blessed be.